Humans have been advancing our knowledge for as long as we have been on Earth, and the more we learn about the inner workings of our world, the more we learn that there's still much to discover. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at these 3 recent discoveries. Graves of nearly 600 cats and dogs in ancient Egypt may be the world's oldest pet cemetery. Nearly 600 cats and dogs lie in a cemetery on the western coast of the Red Sea in Egypt. The tombs are over 2,000 years old and show that the animals were buried with their collars. Archaeologists have assumed that this place, discovered 10 years ago and which had not been studied in depth until now, is the oldest known pet necropolis which pets were buried, with them saying that even then it seems animals were treated as a member of the family. The holy field appeared in dunes outside the city walls. Researchers from the Polish Academy of Sciences found it under a Roman garbage dump and believe the cemetery was used especially between the mid-1st to mid-2nd century AD, when the west coast of Berenice was a bustling centre that traded ivory, fabrics and other luxury goods from India, Arabia and Europe. By 2017, the team led by Marta Osipinska had already unearthed the remains of about 100 animals, most of which were cats. Despite evidence showing that they had been cared for as pets, some archaeologists raised the possibility that the bones had been discarded as garbage. Now 585 skeletons have been found, which have been analysed in detail thanks to the help of a veterinarian who determined the cause of death, diet and even the health of the pets. The conclusion is that all these pets were carefully deposited in well-prepared pits, as explained in an article published in the journal World Archaeology. Many were also covered with textiles or ceramic pieces that formed a kind of sarcophagus. Cats, which accounted for 90% of the total remains, wore iron collars or other threaded glass and shells. But there were also dogs and 2 different species of macaque monkeys. Some of these animals came from outside the African continent. Among the pets buried at Berenice were many with injuries and illnesses that would have prevented their survival. The canines, which accounted for about 5% of the burials, tended to be older when they died. Many had lost almost all their teeth and suffered from joint degeneration. In the cemetery, however, not a single mummification was found, nor was there any trace of deliberate animal sacrifice or slaughter, something that was widespread in the Nile Valley. This space was a place with ambiguous cultural rules, say specialists. It was not very Egyptian, despite its location, but not very Roman either, despite political domination and economic control, they conclude. Oldest ever piece of string was made by Neanderthals 50,000 years ago. A piece of string about 50,000 years old, the oldest discovered so far, has been found in a cave in France and once again has cast doubt on the idea that Neanderthals were cognitively inferior to modern humans. Researchers at Kenyon College, USA, have found a 6.2mm fibre fragment dating back some 41,000 to 52,000 years, making it older than the previous record-holding piece of string, a 19,000-year-old fragment found in Israel. Bruce Hardy and his fellow researchers, who reported the discovery in an article published in the scientific journal Scientific Reports, discovered this new piece of string attached to a Neanderthal tool. At first, it looked like a bundle, but a microscopic examination revealed that it was a bunch of intertwined fibers. According to the researchers, the finding of this ancient string reveals the possibility of other Neanderthal skills, such as the creation of bags, mats, nets, and cloth, suggesting that Neanderthals were more intelligent than is often assumed today, as it implies that Neanderthals understood concepts such as pairs, sets, and numbers. The study notes that the production of this rope demonstrates that Neanderthals had a detailed ecological understanding of trees and how to transform them into completely different functional substances. It also implies a cognitive understanding of arithmetic and context-sensitive working memory, according to the study. This is because it required keeping track of several sequential operations simultaneously. As Hardy points out, the cord was made from fibers from the inner bark of trees. Neanderthals intertwined 3 fibers in a counterclockwise direction, then spun them in the opposite direction to create the cord. Deep in a cave, Neanderthals constructed mysterious ring structures 176,000 years ago. Before the arrival of Homo sapiens in Europe, Neanderthals explored the old continent in search of caves in which to protect themselves from the climate and predators. One of these places is the Brunnikel Cave, east of Montauban, southeast of France, since 1990. Numerous bones and marks of the passage of these hominids have been found. One of these findings is now described in the journal Nature. At a depth of 336 meters, the researchers found up to 400 stalagmites cut and accumulated in 4 rings. For the team, this did not appear to be a coincidence. By dating its age, the experts calculate that this composition is between 176,000 and 200,000 years old, a period that corresponds to the presence of the first Neanderthals in Europe, and about 140,000 years before the arrival of modern man on the continent. According to the researchers, the finding gives strength to the theory that Neanderthals already used complex expressive skills such as symbolic language. These structures, called speleofacts by scientists, accumulate a total weight of 2.2 tons and 112 meters in length. The Neanderthals aligned them in 4 rows of circles and stacked them, after tearing them from the cave wall. The realization of the rings was carefully planned, say the researchers, because they used stalagmites of similar size. To avoid collapse, the figures were propped up. In addition, traces of construction elements and traces on the walls from which the stalagmites were extracted have been found in the area. But the meaning and function of this composition is a mystery. Being located in the depth of the cave, where light barely reaches, the team, led by Jacques Jabeur, professor of prehistory at the University of Bordeaux in France, suggests that it could have ritual purposes, but does not rule out that the Neanderthals used this space to store the water that filtered through the walls. This discovery astonishes researchers, as it is not only the oldest evidence of the Neanderthals' building capacity, but also of their control of fire before the arrival of Homo sapiens in Europe. But what do you make of these 3 discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.